Okay, continuing on with the Sten and talking just a little bit more about the shooting 7.62 by 25 in it. Here's an example of one of those mags that was converted. These were actually made by Light. They produced a Sterling pistol in 7.62, semi-auto pistol, and they sold these mags with that firearm, and you could buy them. And the way that worked is you sent in your Sten mag and paid them, I can't remember, $10 a mag or something like that, and they would mail back a converted magazine for everyone you sent in. So I got a few of those. Before that came online, the only way I'm aware that you could, if you didn't know the trick about cutting this thing out, the only thing I was aware of when I bought this barrel to feed 7.62 was you bought an Pt2 magazine that was constructed to shoot 9mm Largo, old school round, military round. And so I bought a couple of those from a gentleman, a stranger off the internet, and they work fine. But, you know, the 7.62 round is tapered, and after 15 or so rounds, they would start to kind of dive into each other and misfeed. So I sent off an a PPSH 41 magazine and my Pt28 magazine, and I had a gentleman weld the top of the Pt28 mag with the bottom of the PPSH 41 mag to make kind of a Franken mag that had a larger feeding capacity with that curvature. And this works. Goes right in. It's a little bit tight fitting, but this fits right in there. And yeah, gives you that crazy ability to feed that much more powerful round. And, you know, when I was fooling around with that caliber, it was just a really cheap surplus round that was widely available. You could get it for less than 10 cents a round. So that made it very attractive at the time. The other kind of accessory, and this is for 9mm, you know, you need a way to feed or to load these magazines. It's a really stiff spring. If you do it with your bare hands, it's going to be almost impossible. It can be done. It's just not pleasant. There is the different kinds of feeding devices out there. This is the Cadillac of them, the Austin magazine filler, made by the Australians for their Austin submachine gun. A more complicated version of the Sten, very few parts exchange. The author of kind of the Sten Bible, Peter Laidler, notes that it's basically a failure for what the British were trying to do, which was to make a cheap, easy gun. The Australians came up with a much more complicated gun, a lot more stamped parts, and just not the practicality that the Brits were going for. Maybe it worked for the Australians. I think the gun itself, there was nothing wrong with it, but from a manufacturing standpoint, again, the author of the Sten Bible considers it a failure. But yeah, this thing just clamps on. And the way to use one of these guys is, let me get some bullets here, some cartridges. So the way to use this is just to stamp it in. You snap it in place. You get your middle finger through there. And then I like to just push it into my belly, drop a round in, snap it back, snap it forward. With a little practice, you can go really fast. Now, the British made their own that they issued with the gun. It works just like this. The mechanism's just a little flop. You know, there's more slop and play in this part of the mechanism. Kind of attaches with a dodgy leaf spring in the back. It's not as well made. This was die cast. It's thick, it's solid, and these are kind of collectible and definitely expensive in their own right. This is one that appears to have been cast out of copper or bronze. I'm not real sure. I've had a few of these, and this was the only one that was something that was definitely not steel or an alloy of steel. So yeah, kind of an interesting one. Yeah, the other thing to note is, and the reason that I like this ability to unscrew the barrel is it's very easy to screw a suppressor right on there, and one that contains your barrel and everything else. So this is a custom made suppressor or silencer. The barrel is inside here. It looks basically like that, except it's been turned down. It's a skinnier barrel. It doesn't need to be so thick. There are holes drilled in it to bleed off gases and take those 9mm 115 or 124 grain rounds to subsonic speed, so you don't have to use subsonic ammo and avoid that crack. And in this particular one, this is a modern device. It's not one of the original World War II designs. This can be shot on full auto. You can run magazines through it, no problem. And the barrel actually screws inside a monocore aluminum baffle stack, and that slides right into the end of the aluminum tube here. And then there's a steel blast shield. So the first couple of inches, there's like a section of steel, so that where the gases are ported out of the barrel, it doesn't eat through that aluminum, that lightweight aluminum tube. And so yeah, you know, you want to put your suppressor on, you just rotate that mag well out of the way and screw this guy on. And then all you need in this case is a lightened bolt. Because you are losing some of the back pressure from that ported barrel, you don't want as much mass. It will run. This particular rig will run just like it is right now, but it will run slowly because there's just not that much operating pressure. So you then remove, I've got kind of a mess here. Let's see, push this down, remove the stock, twist that end cap out, get your spring out of the way, and then you slide that bolt out and pull the charging handle out of there, depress the trigger, slide your bolt out, and then put in your lightened bolt and repeat that process. This is an example of a lightened bolt. It's been turned down. Not a ton, you know, but if you look at that really carefully, you can tell the diameter is smaller there in the middle and it's lighter. So yeah, just slide that in, put it back together, and you're ready to rock in silent mode. Yeah, so that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to put this back together and put it away in the safe. If people like this video, I'll make more. This is a hobby and passion of mine, and I really enjoyed sharing it with you.